concept of farm to table is, trying to be as close to your food as possible. And so you're talking, it was on the farm and it made it to you, and you want to cut down as many, they call them food miles, but it's, trying to do something that's as close to you as possible, and as well as fresh as possible, because the closer it is, the fresher it is.
Farm to Jesus started at our dining room table. We were semi-practicing our faith, not fully practicing, and of course then the pandemic hit. So we started slowly coming back in a full way. We started learning more about our faith. We were cradle Catholics, we went to Catholic school, but our faith is so deep. And through all of that, we just felt like we needed to do something. Like, it was really a call to action of, okay, now we're getting closer in our personal relationships with God, but now how can we spread this? And everyone has their different walk with faith, and everyone has a different story.
Yep.
So we didn't want it, we named it Farm to Jesus. I remember I was sitting here when I came up with the name, and he was like, that is so cheesy. And I was like, I know it's perfect. Right. But it plays off the farm to table.
So everything we do, we either make it here, process it here, or buy it from a local farm. So having everyone come is one thing, and being able to bring the children and let the kids go play on the farm, all ages, is great. But then also being able to sit down and break bread together is very, very important, because breaking bread breaks any ice that there could possibly be, and there's just true fellowship there. We do try to make sure we include clergy. They come and they have such a wealth of knowledge.
We didn't want to be shy about the fact of, this is what we're doing. We're coming here to talk about God and Jesus. But in addition to that beauty, we're going to live it in a way too. So we're going to take our faith and then apply it immediately. So what has happened has been really beautiful, because it's exactly what we envisioned, honestly. Yeah. And it was, I'm not trying to lay claim to it. The Holy Spirit put that on our hearts. So in terms of community and fellowship, it's been such a blessing to us and our family, and as far as we know, everyone who comes, because they keep coming back. So, and then on the food side, it really spoke to us too. Yeah,
I like to say it's real food. Eat real food, like food that that it came from a plant or an animal, and what happened, and it's still a raw piece of something that you have to do something with.
Some of that gets lost in translation with those bigger companies and processed food.
One of the reasons we came to the farm was because we wanted to have children, and we wanted them to experience it like this. We wanted to be outside and be dirty, and I always joke that our to describe our children as tutus and mud puddles. That's how we wanted it to be, and you understand where your food comes from and the care that it takes to get to that point. It's a process, and there's lots of things involved in this.
With a life cycle of whether it be an animal or a plant or just seasons changing, and it's really a microcosm of our lives and how we can go through those little seasonal rebirths and death unto self, and then also in the bigger picture of why are we here and what is our meaning and how can we enrich others and those around us, it's starting within our own home and our own family.
I started the business 8 years ago, before I was married, trying to explore the possibilities of gardening on a larger scale. It's something that I've been interested in for a long time. Now we have 4 children, and I was hoping to develop that for my children, even though, like I said, I wasn't married at the time when I started it. But it's become a place for the kids to have their own little garden and enjoy the connection with nature that is hard to find, living in a suburb or whatever. So it's kind of a haven for us now. I think what motivated me to do it here was just the opportunities that God presented. Like I said, I had a long-standing interest in farming and gardening, and a space became available, and I knew that it was something I wanted to try. So I just kind of took a leap of faith and tried it. And it has changed a lot over time. When I first started, I had nothing. It was like basically no infrastructure, no power, some water, but I had to redo everything and build structures, and so it's really been an evolving enterprise But by and large, our customers have been so loyal, and that's really rewarding. And they're always enthusiastic about what we do. They're always supportive of like the core principles of what we try to do, you know, which is to grow food that's actually from here and to have it be as healthy as possible. We use a lot of compost for fertility, and so that compost tends to have a broader spectrum of nutrients, and those are present in the plant if they're present in the soil. If they're depleted in the soil, then they're not going to be present in the plant. Just like the church teaches that the development of the whole person is important, not just this or that facet. And in a similar way, you know, if a plant is missing something that is supposed to be there, there's a real loss. And so I just look at the holistic idea of growing something closer to nature. And to me, that's somewhat of a spiritual exercise, because I believe that I'm communing with the natural order that God created. And so to me, the farm is it's sort of a radical thing to do, right? Like, you don't meet a lot of people that are commercially farming on 1 acre, you know? But I hope the realization that someone is willing to do that is kind of shocking to people, and then they wonder, why is he doing that? And the answer would be, you know, because I felt like God presented that opportunity to me, and I saw a lot of beauty and meaning in that life, and I wanted to obey that call.
We grew up in the same hometown in Ireland, so we went to the same high school, so we got to know one another, I guess going through high school. And we're about 20 years married right now. My grandfather was a dairy farmer, and Neve's family is in the beef business. So we both had agricultural backgrounds, and that's the line of business we wanted to pursue. This farm here in Reedsville, you'd call it like a feedlot. We feed out the cattle. Where Neve works, it's a cow-calf operation, so the mama cow has a calf, and the calf is raised by the mama cow, and when the calf is old enough, then it comes here.
Well, I stay working on the Midville farm. We have 4 children now, so that kind of keeps me occupied. So I work on the farm while the kids are at school, and then he oversees 5 or 6 different farm locations in his role.
Food is vital, you know, but it's not cheap, and there's a lot of hard work goes into it. You know, we have people come visit us, and we'll show them around, and they don't know what goes into it. You know, we have restaurant chefs come down here, and they're in awe, like they didn't realise what went into it.
I hope that people know how much care goes into each product that they can pick up off the supermarket shelf. It doesn't get there by accident. It's a huge process. But you know, every gallon of milk, every steak, every pack of hamburger meat or apple or orange, there's a whole community has to go in and put their all into making sure that that's good quality to make it onto the supermarket shelf. There's a whole process behind it. There's days you just have to pray for the strength to keep going, and then you come out the other side and just have to thank God that you had the strength and the will to keep going, and things always work out in His way.
Well, you gotta have faith, you know, you're putting that, you know, whether you're growing a crop or whether you're trying to rear a calf, you know, you put that seed in the ground and you hope, and you know, it's out of your hands, you know, that seed is going to flourish, and hopefully it'll grow into a plant that you can harvest, and or an animal, you know, that calf grows to be a full-size animal, and then you harvest that calf. So you can do what you can do, but at the end of the day, it's not in your hands. You know, like we had the hurricane just go by, you know, and that was devastation for not just us, it was for everybody. You know, that just goes to show the power that's not in your hands. You're just a caregiver.